What is one thing you can learn from your disability? You want people to learn from your disability.
Or from you?
From me. I want people to learn that even though I do share, because I also have a YouTube channel, Emily's Life on Wheels, same as Instagram. You can find me there too. Sophia will probably link those down below. But I want people to learn that even though I do share my life, and even though I do share all these things, I'm not the one who knows everything about CP. And I say this all the time, I don't speak for other people with CP. I speak on my personal journey, and that's why I always have interviews with people who want to share their story, because I don't know if Sophia, I don't know if you have CP, but you know, CP is kind of a spectrum thing. You know, there's people who have it, you know, mildly, who can do certain things, and then there's people who are more severe, or who are in the middle, who have a little bit of a good bit of trouble doing daily things. And then there's people who are on the higher end who have trouble doing daily things, but with maybe like a speech disability on top of it, or you know, that part of the brain is affected too. You know, sometimes I forget that, or sometimes I think that people forget that what causes CP is a brain injury, and that you know, brain injuries aren't going to be the same for everyone. You know, so what I want people to know from me is that I love sharing my experience about CP. I love having other people on my channel about CP. I love doing, but I'm never going to speak for anybody else with CP, because I don't know what their specific struggle is. I can empathize with them because I'm like, oh, very similar, but it's never going to be the exact same thing, you know? So I always try to have multiple people with, you know, different stories of CP, because everyone's different. Everybody's background's different, you know, treatments are different, all that stuff.
Yeah, so there's like multiple
if that makes any sense at all.
Yes. So there are multiple cases of CP. And answering your question, nope, I don't have CP, I have SB. Spina bifida.
Spina bifida.
Okay, gotcha. Well, so exactly. So, you know, I don't know everything there is to know about, you know, all of those things. I know they present as very similar in some cases, but you know, I'm not gonna sit here and speak for you, because I would look very uneducated, and I don't want to be like, I love to share my story and the community story, but that's why I would do it in like an interview style, because I don't like to speak for other people, because I wouldn't want them to speak for me, because that's just the way it is.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay. Hey, Tiff, I have a question. So would you want Sophia's interview for my channel to be what we did, or would you want us to use these questions instead?
We can use both. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Could you send them to me if you don't mind? Okay, sure. Cool. Okay.
But there's still more to the question.
Oh, no, yeah, of course, yeah. Okay. How many more do you think we got left?
Okay. So, you're muted.
You're mute.
I was muted.
There you go.
I'm back. I believe it's your turn, Tiff. No, it's mine.
No, it's your turn. So
sorry. What's the most traumatic or frightening experience you have had in your life? if you have some.
Yeah.
Surgery.
I would say anytime that I went through a surgery, because, and here's the thing, I didn't think, I mean, I've always had anxiety. I've had anxiety since I was 5 years old. But when I started going to therapy, we started working through, some sort of stuff and everything. And I started to realize, I'm like, man, even though I was super brave when I went through all my surgeries and stuff, those were still pretty traumatic, So I think any sort of like surgery and recovery and pain and whatever, even though early intervention is very important for CP, and it was that they were definitely all needed. I find that was a very traumatic time for me because it was a lot of surgery and pain, and when you're younger, you don't really know what's happening. You just know that you don't feel well. So I find that was very traumatic for me.
Yes, sometimes as well in surgeries, as there are usual cases. Sorry, Tiff.
Oh, hang on. What made you decide to become a social media influencer?
Sophia was speaking. She was gonna say something.
I was commenting something.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Sometimes as people with disabilities, we have to go to many surgeries. So sometimes these procedures scare us. So I understand part of it.
Yes.
So as they
definitely did for me. I can
very
definitely agree with that. Yes.
But yeah.
Okay.
It can be very frequent.
So
but
whose turn is it next?
I think we're lost connection.
I think it's my turn.
Okay.
What made you decide?
Okay, go ahead.
What, Sophia?
I think we're losing connection, Jeff. I was
Sophia froze for a second. I think she's frozen on my end.
I know she's frozen on my end too.
Oh no!
Can you?
Oh,
come on, Zoom! Come on!
Come on,
Emily. Hear me now?
Oh no! I hope we don't have to end it and start over.
Do you want me to just keep asking?
Sure.
You the question?
Just ask.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, see, your voice is there. Your face is. Oh, there you are. You're good. Okay, go ahead.
It's still frozen. Okay. What made you decide to be a social media influencer?
Influencer. I don't know if I'm influencing people to do anything, but I decided to create my YouTube channel in my senior year of high school because I really wanted to document my journey from going to school, from going to public school with an IEP, with all of that stuff, to well, my story is I tried to go to college. It didn't work out. I was there for a couple of semesters, but it ended up being too much. But that's okay, because I would have never known that until I tried it. But I really wanted to document my journey of high school, of my last year of high school. And then starting into college, I was like, oh, I'll make videos. And then one day I just decided to videotape throughout the day. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I've been doing it every day since.
That's awesome. So you're basically, we have 10 minutes left. So basically you start your video channel as something to help you document your journey.
Right, because transitions and like big ones like that are usually really tough for me. So I was looking as for like an outlet kind of thing as to, you know, put my feelings and, you know, maybe find some people who were in similar situations than me, you know.
Yes. So,
you know, stuff like that.
For the final question, how do you deal with fear of judgment, of putting yourself out there in the media?
Oh, fear of judgment. That would be one of the reasons why I choose not to, like, I choose to make my posts and my content very much about me, myself, and I, rather than, oh, everybody with CP feels this way because of this, or everybody who uses a wheelchair feels this way because of that. Is one, because of the judgment. And like I said earlier, I wouldn't want people to speak for me, so I'm not going to speak for them. But as far as judgment, I mean, you're always going to find people who don't like you. You're always going to find people who don't like you, whether you put yourself online or not. When you put yourself online, though, they seem to find this sort of anonymity to be able to sit behind the screen and type these things about you when you don't, when they think they know you, you know. But I guess, so I use the block button quite often, because my social media is a safe space for me, and I want it to be a safe space for, people like you and Tiff to come and hang out with me and, do things like this together. And, I really just try to live my life, and I try to just not caring what people think is hard, because I think when you try, you're having a following, or, you have people that kind of like your stuff, it's like, ooh, I don't want to upset them, but at the same time, this is my real life, and I go through real struggles. So it's very challenging. So I just try to live my life the best way that I know how. And if people want to follow it, great. If they don't, then that's okay too.
Yeah, that's great. So basically the channel, it's for you. You show people your story, and sometimes that takes out the anxiety, and that makes you feel good with you. And if people wants to follow, they follow. If not, that's okay. So you're taking normally. So we just have 6.5 minutes left. So I just wanted to thank you for wanting to do this and for allowing us to record this interview, and
of course,
just for wanting to do this. Do you want to say something before we finished? You or
no, you're just gonna link my social media and stuff in the description box, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
All the social media, yours and mine, will be down below in the information box.
Yes.
And so thank you so much. And videos will be up every weekend. So thank you, and see you next time.
See you.